Okay, test, 1, 2, 3. Good. Hi, I'm Consultant. You might know me as a voice actor and the founder of the Toho dubbing channel Senkai Studios, which now has over 1.7k subs. This video will be made purely based off of my own experiences with MangoPengo, what I was told by those that I trust, and Mango's own response video on the situation. I'm only making this video as a cautionary effort to ensure that Mango cannot exploit any young, underage, female voice actors again. MangoPengo is a small Toho content creator that I was loosely affiliated with at the end of January. On January 27th, 2024, MangoPengo reached out to me as Senkai Studios via DM asking to indulge him in a collaborative video. He reached out to me looking for voice actors, specifically female ones, as he claimed that he himself was going to edit the video, and, as I quote from him, "No offense to you guys, but for what you do, editing is easy and I'm still a noob as an editor." Now, admittedly, I, in my naivete, indulged his request and invited him to join the Senkai Studio staff team. This was my own mistake, and I have so much regret for it, and will fully take whatever blame or responsibility is pushed onto me for this fact. However, none of the actions caused by Mango were known by me until after the incident had already happened. As aforementioned, MangoPengo was caught in an incident shortly after he joined the Senkai Studio staff, where he was engaging in sexual chats, also known as ERP, also known as erotic roleplay, with Temerson, one of the voice actors in my server, who was an underage female. He had reached out to her to be a voice actor in the collaborative project mentioned before. Now, I know not of all the details of the conversation and ongoing relationships between the two at that time. All of that is in Mango's own video on the situation. However, Temerson herself reached out to me a week after he had joined the server, telling me that MangoPengo was involved in sexually charged and explicit conversations with her. Now, it's important to note for context that Mango is 18 years of age, soon to be 19, and Temerson is 15, thus inherently making this pedophilic by nature. I, shortly afterwards, when I was told this, banned Mango from the Senkai server and cut all contact with him. Now, after this incident, while I was focused on tightening the security for the Senkai Studios Discord due to this incident and never wanting one of my voice actors to be exploited like that ever again, a group of people that claimed to have been groomed by Mango had launched an exposition upon him. Now, I knew not of this until one of my Senkai staff moderators, Tuhos, had informed me of such. I held off on making a video as I wasn't directly involved in anything and feared that my involvement would only discredit the alleged victims in this case. I watched the exposing videos upon him, and admittedly I was not 100% certain on the validity of some of the allegations. However, I did still choose to believe the victims in the situation, as there was actual physical evidence against Mango, and on his hand, he had nothing to prove otherwise. Now, flash forward to today. I was informed that MangoPengo had done a stream on his channel where he attempted to defend himself from these allegations. Now, defend is a strong choice of words, because from my perspective, being someone who wasn't entirely swayed on either side of the situation, he essentially incriminated himself. He starts off the stream saying that he has no intention of apologizing, which is an immediate red flag, as he had provided no prior evidence of his innocence in the situation at all. He also attempts to immediately play the victim, claiming that the whole situation has left him in a dire mental state, and that the situation over the course of a month had made him anorexic and that he couldn't get out of bed and missed going to school. Judging based upon the way he starts off the video claiming he will not apologize, and immediately zeroes in on how he's the victim, I could kind of tell right off the bat that this wasn't a response video, but more of a defense video. He refers to the exposition against him as a quote-unquote smear campaign. So I eagerly watch the stream whilst he plays Minecraft to see what his evidence on this claim is. Throughout the next few portions of the stream, Mango carries a general fuck you attitude, making light of the claims against him without yet proving any evidence. He even parades around a yet unreleased diss track against his quote-unquote haters, in which he says the lyrics, and I quote word for word, "Tell me you're horny, you don't even talk to me." The next part is indecipherable, but then he picks it back up with, "Little boys, you might be related to EDP. Forcing me into ERP. Don't even try me, you hang out with a rapist, about to beat you like your father because you do gay shit. Use your," indecipherable again, "power to bring back your dead mother. Oops was talking about Nico, like what the hell is with the wet feet, bro? And what's the beef with the," and then he says an N-word. It's not like the common slur for black people, but it is still a slur. It is the French word for black. "You say you like fucking little kids. That's weird, bro." And then later on in the track is the lyric, "Looking at my subs, bitch, I hardly need to mention. This shit is giving me an erection." And now I'm just gonna note that at the time of recording this video, MangoPengo has 647 subs. Now there is so unbelievably much wrong with this alone, but I'm going to come back to it later when more details are revealed. But keep an eye on the phrase, "forcing me into ERP." Also, horrible flow. Never rap again. Like, ever. Lil Mango, his career should be dead. Please? To flash forward to the end of the video for a brief segment, because I need to talk about this before I talk about anything that's upcoming. There's irrefutable proof in the stream that Mango said himself that he did indeed ERP with a minor. So everything from here on in the script is spoken in absolutes because he confirmed himself that he is a pedophile. He then delves into Nico's video on the situation, which was one of the videos that had the most actual evidence attached to it, from what I saw. And admittedly, none of the videos were great. That's why I wasn't 100% swayed on the situation, because a lot of the videos had missing evidence, but at the same time, they had more evidence than Mango had provided on the situation. So, before he even starts the video, he goes into Discord with his messages with Nico, disabling streamer mode, which is automatically activated by like Streamlabs or OBS or something, and broadcasting Nico's Discord account to his small audience. He then shares his messages with Nico. Now, admittedly, and I'm going to say this multiple times, Nico was not the best person in this situation either. She did her own fair share of manipulation. However, the important factor here is that he is 18 and she is 14. He is an adult. She's a child. He then finally delves into breaking down Nico's video, in which another person joins, who claims to have just turned 14. So you can see the type of people that he likes to keep around. You can already see the problem here. From here on out, the stream admittedly gets even harder to watch, because this fucking little 14-year-old won't stop yapping, stating that even though he doesn't know what Mango said, he will defend him. Because for some reason, he is so resolute on defending this fucking creep. When it comes to the allegations of him plagiarizing Megapig 9001's Autism and Toho video, which he discusses in the stream, which is brought up in Nico's video, he states that he didn't plagiarize anything but the thumbnail. And then he begins to brag about how his plagiarized video gained more views than it did for a 10K sub channel. He brags about that and calls Megapig pathetic because he plagiarized Megapig's video and got the same amount of views as a 10K sub channel. Real fucking smart. This isn't admittedly really relevant to the allegations, but I still find it necessary so as to show that MangoPengo is not a good person. Like, regardless of anything, regardless of any of the accusation shit, he's just not a good person. He finally starts to go over her points in the video, and at one point, it's shown a message where he contacts her for a voice acting role in his server. He asks if she was born female. She says yes. Asks again, more specifically, if she is trans. He seems to be really insistent on her being a born female. Now, this is important because it shows his true intention wasn't really looking for voice actors. As he will state himself multiple times in the video, he was bored and lonely. She also states in the same screenshot that she is 14 or 15. Later, when Nico is discussing the conversations she had with him drunk, she was drunk, not him, I need to clarify. She shows that he called her cute and precious. Now, he tries to make this a big point, that he meant it like you would speak to a cat. And while I can see it as platonic, later on in the video, he accuses somebody from a server that I'm not familiar with in the slightest, Aya Productions server, Happy Flies, of being a pedophile for calling a 17-year-old cute as a 23-year-old. Now, notice the contradiction here. He is actively denying that him calling Nico cute was pedophilic in any manner. When Happy does something similar, he tells him, and I quote, like, they're a minor, bro. Keep it in your pants. He then goes on a tirade about Nico being drunk, which is something I do not agree with either. I don't think 14-year-olds should be drinking. However, there's a point that he tries to make here, because he thinks he's some amazing philosopher. Drunk actions are sober thoughts, he says, which is like literally the most common phrase to refer to drunk people I've ever heard. Comparing it to if your partner cheated on you whilst you're drunk. He then makes his first bold statement, and he even says, oh, this is controversial. You shouldn't be drinking, which is, again, something I wholeheartedly agree with at the age of 14, especially at parties, because that's how you get raped, especially if you're underage or a woman in general. You can tell this man has never been to a party in his life, much less interacted with many women. I mean, many women that were his age range. Now, later on in the video, after Nico mentions a lot of things that I myself do not agree with, and I will state that 1,000 times, I do not agree with a lot of the shit she said, and I do not condone any of it in the slightest, she shows a screenshot where Mango tells her not to drink, not to join any e-dating servers or talk to people over the age of 17, and to not try and contact him. Now, I can see telling her not to drink, because again, a 14-year-old shouldn't be doing that. But the second thing he tells her, not to join any e-dating servers, which, sure, but talk to people over the age of 17. This is a common tactic of grooming, as mentioned by Nico herself. This is isolation. Cutting her off specifically from adults, from responsible adults who can assess the situation and see what's actually happening. There is also evidence where Nico refers to Mango as Big Daddy, and he refers to her as Pookie. Strange on both ends, but more so on his, because again, he's 18, calling a 14-year-old Pookie. And additionally, throughout the video, there is bulletproof evidence that he did these things. It's literally, there are Discord messages up on screen. And he ignores that he says these things. He doesn't mention them at all. He doesn't once go, yeah, I said these things. He does it once near the end of the stream when referring to Temerson, and it's the most incriminating thing he said. So I can see why he didn't, but even still, the fact is present that he did ignore it. He instead focuses on menial things. He repeats the same thing over and over and over again about the time, the date that these things were posted, which I don't see how that relates at all. And then Nico then reveals that he never really talked about the quote-unquote relationship in front of everybody. except for one time, when he and Nico were pinged by a friend in a server, asking what they were doing. Mango then responded with a gif of 2 girls kissing. The friend that pinged them then asked, "You guys kissing?" To which Mango responded with another gif of 2 girls kissing. And yet again, whenever he's presented with this in the video, he does not mention this at all. He merely mentions that she never met his friends except for this one person. He then also responds in the same stream to a chat question asking if he indulged her, and he says that he did not. This is proven to be factually wrong, as he later states that he ERP'd with Temerson to indulge her, which I imagine is the same thing he did to Nico. Another tactic of isolation is seen in another message that he sends to her where he states he's the only one that loves her. Again, whenever he sees this, he ignores that he said he loves her, a 14-year-old, to focus on the date the message was sent for some fucking reason. Later on, when confronted with a screenshot of him saying the F slur, Mango then circles it, saying based, as if it was based for him to say the F slur.
With a friend, he'd get
based,
almost bragging about the fact that he said a slur, which he does several times in this video. He's obviously an egotistical shithead. He also is then confronted with an inarguably manipulative screenshot where he is again employing the isolation and guilt-tripping tactics about the fact that Nico talked to another guy that wasn't him. Again, mentioning whenever he sees this, that the screenshots were from weird dates or something, and completely ignoring the content of said screenshots. He constantly harps on the date, but never mentions what's up with it. Like, Mango then later responds to a chat question that says, "Bro, you're damn still near a minor." And Mango agrees with this, saying that his birthday was only 3 months before the incident. Now, I'm going to say something right here. He wasn't near a minor. When you become 18, you are legally an adult. Legally. It doesn't matter if you think you're still a minor because you turned 18 3 months ago. You are legally an adult. And even then, there's a 4-year age gap between 18 and 14. 4 years of the most developmental years of someone's life. I only turned 18 3 months ago is not a fucking excuse. He then claims that most of his responses to her sexual advances were monotonous, seemingly uninterested things like, "Bro, that's crazy." While he still may have tried to seem uninterested, he still enabled a minor to make sexual comments and be sexual towards him without stopping or telling her not to do it. Now, he does share messages later on in the stream. Well, one message, where he told her that they can't do that. And yet he still indulged it. And he claims several times throughout the stream that a yet unreleased document will clarify everything. Although he also claims that there is proof that he does not want to share because of personal shit, and claims that he wants to delete DMs but isn't sure if he should because it might make things seem weird. Why do you want to delete DMs, Mango? What personal info did you share with a 14-year-old you met over the course of a week? He also responds to some of the things that she says whenever she says that whenever she was outside hanging out with friends, that he waited for her at home and sent her angry messages. And he confirms this himself. He says, "I did wait for her a bit because I don't have any other friends. I literally didn't have any other friends. Loneliness crippled me." How fucking sad do you have to be to not have any friends and rely on a 14-year-old for attention? And another screenshot is later shown where he is frantically spamming her messages, and at the bottom of the screenshot, another manipulative tactic can be seen, where he says, "If you killed yourself, I'd probably do the same." Now this one is one of the most common methods for grooming young teens, especially ones with suicidal thoughts or tendencies. Back to Nico's video, she reveals a screenshot shortly before Nico blocked him when he finds out that Tem and Nico are dating. I don't know if this is true or if it was just something to escape the situation, in which he says, in all caps, I hate you so much. This is to Tem, by the way, before following it up with, you're trying to fuck the love of my life in front of me, the only person that makes me happy. Take that into context. He just called Nico the love of his life. A 14-year-old. This is an 18-year-old calling the 14-year-old that he met online over the course of a week the love of his life. If that isn't irrefutable evidence, don't worry, I have more later on. But this is, at this point in the stream, the most incriminating, irrefutable piece of evidence thus far. He also says, while trying to justify himself, and I told her I'm sick of you fucking leaving me for people that treat you like shit and don't care about you. Which is not only another manipulation tactic, but the choice of words in leaving me is very odd here, as it implies she left him in a relationship to pursue another relationship. He tries to make a point that she sent a friend screenshots that she didn't show in her video, and I seriously struggle to understand his logic here. Like, does he think that these screenshots being shown would incriminate him less? Literally nothing she sends could incriminate him less. Because at the end of the day, he's an adult interacting sexually with a minor. And when you take that fact into consideration, the rest of his stream defending himself becomes quite irrelevant. Yeah, Nico did bad things. She was manipulative, but at the same time, Mango, being a legal adult, was sexual towards a 14-year-old girl. Nothing he says she did overrides the fact that he was sexual with a minor. So any of his loose attempts at defense are rendered null and void by this singular one fact. And Mango thinks that he can criticize people for having a lack of proof. But he can't, because he has no fucking proof himself. And if he does in the document, like he claims he does, release the document, you fucking coward. I dare you. Do it. Like it'll prove any of this wrong. Because again, like I said, I have evidence from your stream that you admitted yourself. It will not change the fact that you are sexual with minors. I can criticize Nico for the lack of proof, and I think she should have included a lot more screenshots. There are huge portions of the video where she would say things and there was no proof. And I'll agree with you there. The only fucking time I'll agree with you. She should have shown proof, and it makes me hard to believe her. However, you kind of self-reported here, bud. Whereas you, as opposed to her, haphazardly did a stream where you did nothing but trash on the people accusing you, which significantly harms your credibility. Now, he also states that at the end of her video, all she has going for her is her art. Again, trying to insult her. But at least she has something going for her. And it's bold of you to say all she has going for her is her art, considering you used her art on the thumbnail for your shitty EOSD video without even crediting her. I'm just saying. And after this, he then tries to tear into a member of the server I'm not familiar with, Haya Productions, a member, Happy Flies, who is 23 years old, who called Aya Productions, a 17-year-old, cute. Now, I mentioned this earlier, but by your own fucking logic, this isn't creepy, and more like what you'd say to a cat. But specifically here, when you're referring to Happy Flies for some reason, you say it's inherently pedophilic. Why's that? You perhaps projecting? Now, I'm not going to discuss any more of the Aya production situation because, again, that's a thing I'm detached from, and it's a situation I'm unfamiliar with. But from what Mango showed on his stream, it's super contradictory that you call out Happy for doing the same thing to a 17-year-old that you did to a 14-year-old. He later brings up his DMs with Temerson, the other underage girl that he used my server as a proxy to get to. He seems very intent on expressing the fact that it was her who came onto him first. Even at some point in the documents, he tries to shift the blame onto her, saying that she made sexual advances onto him despite knowing that he was 18. The fucking reverse logic here. Like, he's not in the wrong. She's the wrong one. She did this to me. Fucking grow up. And here comes the most damning piece of evidence of all. He himself, whenever he brings up Temerson's DMs, confirms, says it verbally, in his stream that is still up, that he did a Mari Alley ERP with Temerson because he was, quote-unquote, doing it to make her feel better, and that he was bored and lonely.
To the point where she basically, he like, I wouldn't say forced, because you're never, like, online when you're typing shit, you're never forced to, but she did, like, a Mari Alley ERP with me. I did it to make her feel better, and there is proof of that. I never, like, that ERPing is just, like, kind of weird to me, but I did it because I was bored and lonely.
This right here is irrefutable evidence that MangoPengo is a pedophile. He claims that he was forced into it before taking that back, saying nothing is really forced online. But by that logic, if he had wanted to, at any point, he could have said no. But he chose to do it. With a minor. Which, at this point, literally nothing else he had said in his stream matters. Because there is irrefutable proof now that he is a pedophile and invalidates every defense he's made on his own video. MangoPengo, you are just one of the many blights on the English Toho community. You use and manipulate and groom. You are a groomer and a pedophile. Your 600 subs that you hold so highly doesn't mean jack shit. I have more than twice that amount. I'll fucking destroy you. You even turn off dislikes for the little stream you had. You're nothing. You're worthless. You deserve to have lost every friend you have from this. I hope you never recover from this. And I hope your victims can move past this by me making this video. Now, I'm sorry for everybody else watching if I came off really aggressive during the video. I've been writing this script for well over 3 hours now. I really felt bad about the fact that someone like this was allowed into my server and allowed to exploit someone that's underage. And I just want to make up for that in any way I can in exposing an absolute piece of shit and hoping that he never, ever steps foot in this community again. Thank you.